There's always a big question of, are we seeing the most out of this player, or which player has the higher ceiling? Like, when you look at players, especially quarterbacks these days, and you kind of compare them, in terms of team by team, arm talent, all of that stuff. And let's be real. Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, they've been compared a lot in their careers, especially, they're obviously in the same division. And I really think that there's an interesting question of when you ask who has a higher ceiling. In other words, who could be the who could be the better quarterback down the road, and or potentially, excuse me. And this is a hard question for me because I really wanted to take a serious look at it because, you see all these quarterbacks over the years, guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like there was always those two always going at it. I would say that those two, that was the battle of the century. Let's be real. That was so fun to watch for so many years. And I think that's what we're going to get with Patrick Mahomes versus Justin Herbert and Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes. Like, if we're being honest, these two are so similar in terms of arm talent. Now, I do give the edge to Patrick Mahomes here because there's just some throws that he makes that it's just like, what was it, the Super Bowl throw a couple years ago? He's literally laid out and he puts on a rocket to Tyreek Hill, who dropped it, by the way. But that's not the point. The point is, there's just some throws that Patrick Mahomes makes that just makes you go, wow. But on the flip side of that, Justin Herbert also has some throws that makes you, want to replay that a couple different times because they're both so talented. And I think this division is so lucky to have two great quarterbacks. Now, obviously, you got Derek Carr and Russell Wilson as well. I get all that. But, especially when you compare these two, just in terms of how successful they've been early in their careers, it's actually very encouraging in terms of what we can expect moving forward for both of these guys. You talk about Justin Herbert throwing for over 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions last year. You got Patrick Mahomes doing his thing, throwing for over 4,800 yards and 37 touchdowns against only 13 interceptions. So, there's a lot going on in this debate. I think that there has to be, you got to look at both sides. On one hand, Patrick Mahomes has had a good receiving core. He's had a middle of the pack to a slightly above average defense, and he's gotten it done in big moments. Justin Herbert, on the other hand, I would say his defense has never been as good as Patrick Mahomes. Let's be real. Like, his running game has always, the defensive running game has always struggled, even with Linval Joseph, by the way. And so as we move forward, I think that's going to be an area where you can take a look at both of these guys and say, hey, Justin Herbert hasn't had as good as Patrick Mahomes in this regard. But if we're talking about sheer talent, and putting away the comparisons for both teams, I think these guys are so similar. I think these two are going to be such big parts of the NFL and its future. I think this is going to be a battle that people they're going to get that popcorn, they're going to get that DiGiorno pizza, they're going to get. By the way, Red Baron is the best kind of cardboard pizza out there. I don't care what anybody says. I grew up on it. I think it's the best. But anyway, by the way, let us know which one is the best cardboard pizza in the comment section down below. But I think at the end of the day, you got to take a serious look at both of these quarterbacks and know that it's okay with knowing that either A, it's really an even match in terms of having the higher ceiling, or B, you do give that slight edge to Patrick Mahomes at this time. Now, I mentioned that Justin Herbert didn't have the defense that Patrick Mahomes. Now, when I say that, it's not like Patrick Mahomes had a top 10 defense. Like, that's not the case. But he had a defense that got it done in moments when they needed to. Justin Herbert, not so much. But I think that's about to change. You got Jerry Tillery, Austin Johnson, and Sebastian Joseph Day. Those two guys on the inside. Finally, Joey Bosa as well. I think they finally, got that interior run game and defense figured out. You got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on the edges, as well as Drew Tranquil as well, and Kenneth Murray Jr., who I think is going to take a big step forward this year. Asante Samuel Jr. and J.C. Jackson, both at your cornerback spots, and then Nasir Adderley and Derwin James Jr. out there as well. Like, Derwin James is a bad man. Derwin James is an absolute stud. So I think that you're finally going to see a little bit more even matched in terms of offense and defense, and this is going to be a battle of the century. And I think that this is going to be one of those things where we see these two quarterbacks really start to go at it. The gunslingers, finally what we wanted. That they're not going to be able to run the ball. The Chiefs won't, I don't think, as effectively because the Chargers finally got their defense figured out to a degree. And on the flip side of that, I do think that the Chiefs, I mean, in terms of running the football, I think is going to be very interesting as well. I think, what is it, Isaiah Pacheco? I think he's going to be a stud this year as well. So anyway, I think we've answered the question, or at least taken a deeper look into who has a higher ceiling. Again, I give a slight edge to Mahomes at this time, but I think Justin Herbert is certainly coming. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. Greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about who has the higher ceiling in Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert.